All righty. We are live.
Woohoo!
For everyone joining us, welcome to this week of Thirsty Topics. And boy, it's going to be a doozy.
It is. I feel I'm not only thirsty this week. I feel like I'm getting like acid reflux too with all the stuff that's happening.
Oh my God, yes. It's been crazy. I am going to let you start first, Meryl.
Okay, I'm going to throw a new topic into the mix. It's a weird one to start out on, but I'm not sure if you're aware. There's been this thing going around New York where a lot of young women are getting randomly punched in the head. Yes, and so
Yes.
it's it's been like absolutely crazy. I've seen on TikTok, I think we're up to like 10 women so far. And those are
Wow.
just the ones that are on TikTok making stories about it. And for people that haven't seen this yet, these women tend to be just walking along, like minding their business and looking at their phones. And all of a sudden they get clocked upside the head. A few people got like punched in the back of the head. And then there's been a few girls that have like a huge I think it's like a hematoma or, something crazy and big, like a big swelling. And now it's led to people saying, is this like just one person that's maybe unhinged, or is this like a bigger attack, or, some type of subreddit of people like planning to knock out women, or, people are saying things about years ago, the knockout game where people were just trying to punch people. And it's like, I mean, as a woman myself that does walk, like I always have weapons with me, but I also, it's just like so unbelievable and weird. So I just wanted to. I mean, I guess there's not really like a take on it other than please don't punch women, everyone. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess the most disappointing thing is I don't know if it's the same. It's a guy that's doing it, so I don't know if it's the same guy or multiple guys doing it. But for a man to just randomly punch a woman for no reason,
right,
that's just crazy. And sadly enough, if this person or the persons keep doing this, women also carry weapons just like men do.
yeah,
And
yep,
they're
yep,
gonna punch the wrong person and it's gonna go horribly wrong.
100%. There's like this stick that kind of like it's like it looks small and then it extends to like a big metal stick. And I really just want to fly to New York and like pretend to be looking at my phone. And like, I'm not going to be one of the women that just runs away crying and meek. I will like literally beat the person down. And so, I also think it's important for men to like notice, okay, this is happening as well. So it shouldn't just be women scared. It should be like men also helping and looking out for this happening. And,
Hmm.
like, but now it's just, I can't believe it. So yeah, it's up to 10 women and they all seem to be looking at their phones. And right now it seems to be the Lower East Side of New York. But I mean, as someone like living in LA, I've heard about that too. I've heard of people just getting like punched randomly in the back of the head. And it is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, as a rule of thumb, you really should be paying attention to your surroundings
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
there's still this thing of snatching phones too, where you're not paying
Yeah.
attention and someone runs and literally snatches your phone and runs. So I just think if you're walking in public, you really should be paying attention to what's going around you. 50% of the battle is letting people know that you're aware of what's going on around them.
Right, right. And like making eye contact and acting like you're not just, off in La La Land for sure.
Oh, exactly. But I mean, some of the women had bruises. One woman had a knot on her head. I mean, this is like crazy.
Yeah. I'm ready though. I'm ready to fight. I'm like, I'm sorry to everyone here watching. Like, but like, if that happens, you are going to see some person like lit on fire and just like. But what if it's accidentally someone that's just like trying to like talk to me because I lost my keys or something? So, but
Well,
yeah, so it is something
you can
to.
just blame the guy that sucker punching people.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think that's like something. You seem like a very. I mean, I know you, and you are a very nice man. And it's like I think it's not. It shouldn't just be women scared by ourselves. It should be men really being like, okay, this is not okay. Let's all be aware of the situation.
Oh yeah. I mean, you would think that, if someone saw this, they would jump in or say something. But it's kind of 50-50 because these days, men or women, most people don't want to get involved anymore.
Right, right. And you don't know who has what. Do you remember the knockout game like a few years ago? Yeah,
I
that's like so
remember it. Yes.
scary and bad, and that's just like I don't know. I feel like that should be a bigger crime. That's very scary.
I don't know. I think it's a bad thing when violence is a sport. You remember the
Right.
slap game? Where they're standing
With
up and slapping each other. I thought it was the stupidest thing. I'm not gonna just stand there and
yeah,
let you slap.
I know. We need a game that's just like, why don't we clean up this like garbage on the streets game, or like picking up litter or something.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it's just crazy, and I'm actually surprised the women were on TV, telling their story to them. Some women would be too embarrassed to say it, but
Oh my
I
gosh,
think
I feel like they shouldn't be embarrassed at all.
that's true. I mean, I think that it's probably more people that got assaulted. That's probably
Yeah,
just only the 10 that says something.
exactly. But I really feel like it's up to help others, if not to just like run away and cry. Like that's totally understandable because I feel like everyone's probably in shock. But I think now that everyone knows, it's like very important that people stand there, cause a scene, like make everyone aware in one way or another, and like not just to not say anything, because then it can happen to so many more.
I agree. I mean, I guess the takeaway from this for everybody watching, um, just make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Because if you look like a victim, you may become one, unfortunately, in these crazy times.
Yep. I once told a man at a gas station that I would eat his eyes out if he didn't stop looking at me.
All righty now.
I feel like the trick is to always like be like 5% more unhinged than the person that's threatening you.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm quite sure he probably left you alone after that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh, do you want me to like scoop out your eyes and eat them? And then he left me alone.
Mental note: don't mess with Meryl.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Okay, well, I hope your next topic is like a lighter, happier one than just women getting punched.
actually, we're gonna dive into a real hot topic that's been trending like crazy since Monday. And this is the raid on two of Sean P. Diddy Combs' homes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Um, wow. I mean, to have the Homeland Security and the division of women of trafficking raid your homes is not a good look at all.
No, not at all. Do you think, I mean, I don't know much about this. Like, obviously, they need a warrant to do that, but like, people don't. Is a when someone raids your home, do you have any notice that it's about to happen, or like you're really just caught by surprise?
I mean, I don't know personally, but what I would assume is that they're probably going to catch you by surprise because if they're looking for evidence, they're probably not going to want to give you heads up.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like to just clear all your history and everything.
Yeah. Hey, we're coming by tomorrow, so just make sure your laptop is clean, okay?
Yeah, if by like Wednesday at 3 p.m. you could just delete all evidence, that would be really good. But I mean, I feel like this thing has been brewing with him for quite some time now. So you would think if he was prepared, he would get rid of all incriminating things. Which, like, I don't even know. I bet what they. I mean, I feel like all the stuff that they're going to find, they're not even going to share. Like, they're going to share like 10% of it.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely not going to share everything because they don't want to, jeopardize their case. Um, I truly hope that these allegations aren't true. But as a person that was physically and sexually abused as a child, if it is true, then he needs to be held accountable for it.
100%, definitely.
You know, the only thing that was kind of interesting to me, I don't know if it was just a coincidence, but of course, the memes are already out on social media. I mean,
Really?
yeah, like I saw one post where they had him in a green suit, kind of like the Joker, but
Uh
then they call him
huh.
the Diddler. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Oh, that's right. I did see one where it's like, I hope they find Mace, and then they put a picture of like the rapper Mace. Wow. And I haven't even seen, like, I feel like he's been very low profile, understandably, but I feel like I've seen so much of P. Diddy in the news, but I haven't actually seen like pictures or videos of him. I'm sure he's either in hiding or just not wanting to be seen right now.
Yeah, I mean Mace, when he stepped away from music, he kind of kept a low profile. I think somebody says he's either a minister or pastor or something. He's in the church.
Hmm.
Um, So, he's always stayed low pro, but I think anyone who is a friend of P. Diddy's might want to stay, they're probably going to kind of distance themselves for right now until they see what the facts are.
Yeah.
The one thing that surprised me is when they were raiding the homes, they literally showed P. Diddy at, the private airport where his plane is, looking serious, kind of pacing back and forth. And his sons were taken out of the house in handcuffs. I mean, they were released later, but it was like somebody had cracked a joke, like, man, that's kind of foul if he, kind of just left out and left his kids in the house, knowing that they was hitting it. I hope that's not the case, but wow, if it is.
Yeah, then that's not, then you're a bad dad too. That's like, and I saw something too that his, like, this is alleged, but his alleged drug mule was a and shout out to my alma mater. I actually went to Syracuse, and so love to see the college in the news for something. But that his drug mule was a Syracuse basketball player, and then when you swipe, it's like the geekiest, like nerdiest little like redhead white boy, which is like, I mean, that's crazy too. If that happens, and that's like a whole other. I mean, I think they're really looking for a big giant ring of many not good things happening.
Yeah, I mean, for him to be identified as a drug mule, to me tells me that there's people talking.
Yeah,
Because how do you randomly say that about someone?
I
You know what I
know, and
mean?
I wonder if he's just talking to like get less time or get less harsher punishment.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, everyone is loyal to you, especially your close people, until, you get caught in a situation and you got a lot of years behind bars.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a motivator for you to talk at that point.
Yes, yes. Well, I look forward to seeing that. They haven't said yet. I think yesterday was like the last time I was on the news about that situation. I don't know if this morning, but they haven't said what they found yet, right?
No, I mean, the only thing that they said was they took a lot of documents, computers, and other electronic devices. So
Wow.
they didn't say what was on it, they just said what they took. So, um, I mean, obviously something triggered it because, I mean, they came in, I mean, like a movie. I mean, guns drawn, all
Yeah.
kinds of officers. I mean, it was hardcore.
The scene to me looked like what would have been the beginning of like a P. Diddy 1995 music video. Then it would have cut to like him on a yacht somewhere with J Lo and him yelling at each other. I don't know
The
though.
crazy thing is, this could be a video.
Right? And he'd be wearing like silk pajamas and yeah.
Yeah, something tells me we're going to hear a lot more about this story.
Oh my gosh. I was gonna say I'm excited, but I'm not excited. It's already not good and very
Yeah,
gross. And like last week we talked a lot about the Nickelodeon documentary, and it's just I'm at least happy to see that more of this is like coming out in the open, you know?
yeah. I mean, the thing is that I like the fact that, when people do something wrong, they're held accountable. It's not like it used to be where, if you had enough money or enough power, you can make any, you could pretty much bury anything. That's
Hmm.
not the case anymore. And
Right.
social media kind of levels the playing field too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it seems like celebrity power is becoming less and less like weaponized against the law where now we're seeing like the celebrities actually can get taken down. I don't know, the conspiracy part of me always didn't believe it, and I was like, okay, the police are working hand in hand, but now I do believe that like there are actually some good people trying to do the right thing.
Yeah. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, I think we're going to hear more about this because I know I saw something on one of the news channels saying that the way they came at his properties, that they've already said out loud that he's a target of investigation. Um,
Hmm.
Code word meaning, okay, you're a suspect, and they said it out loud. So not a
Wow.
good thing when federal law enforcement says that about you.
Exactly. I wouldn't have anything to hide, but I would be very embarrassed if they rated me just of like the way that I talk to my friends and the memes that I send. There's nothing illegal going on, but it's just more. They'd be more like, "Oh my god, you're a 40-year-old woman. Like, why are you talking like a 13-year-old to your friends?" So, and I'd be like zooming in on guys I used to have a crush on, and like, yeah, it's not good.
Hey, that's okay.
Yeah, that's why I was just talking about it with a friend. Of course, nothing P Diddy esque, but like I was just talking about it with someone where it's important to have like one friend that if you pass away, that's in charge of your phone that can just like delete all the weird things, and it's usually not going to be your significant other. I mean, maybe you seem like you have a healthy relationship, but like to me, it's my best friend. It's like access to my phone, and she knows what to delete and what to like, just my search history and everything. But like I said, this is nothing illegal. If
No, but like I said, everybody's got those things where they're like, "Ooh, you were looking at that."
yeah, it's just mostly embarrassing too. Or like sometimes I'll even just Google like how to cook a potato or stuff that I should know how already. So
I totally understand. I totally understand. Well, you have the next topic.
yay. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about a lot of them. Okay, this past weekend, my lovely parents were in town visiting me in LA from San Diego. And
Ooh.
one of the things we did that was so much fun is we went to the uh, Academy of Motion Pictures Museum. So, and also if anyone is thinking about ever visiting LA or looking for something fun to do, I really recommend this museum, Academy of Motion Pictures. It's beautiful. It's always about the history of movies itself and like the art of movie making. And
Mhm.
then they usually have different floating exhibits. Like last time I went, it was Wizard of Oz. This time it was the movie maker John Waters, and it's just really, really a great museum. It's worth it. But anyway, the final room inside the museum is different Oscar speeches over the years, and then different awards. So it shows you how the award itself looks different from like the 1920s all the way up to now, and like how the actual statue
Oh,
looks
wow,
different,
nice.
which is super cool. But then it has this like room, it's all these panels, and one by one, it shows like some memorable Oscar acceptance speeches. One was Halle Berry, which was like, always makes me cry. And then the second one that stood out to me was Steven Spielberg, for when he did Schindler's List. And like that one makes me cry so much because he thanks his mom, and you could just tell like his mom is so proud of him that she starts crying and then I start crying. But I was going to ask you, like, have there ever been any Oscar or award speeches that you still remember to this day that like affected you in any way? Doesn't
There's a
have to be
few.
Oscars. It could be like anything.
Um, I guess I would probably say um, maybe Denzel.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Um, one thing I notice about Denzel when he gives speeches, not only the Oscar, but even when he's an honorary doctor and at a college or something like that, he always speaks from where he is, and he's not afraid to say, thank God for where he's at, and then also about the importance of um, of character, the importance of going after what you want to do. One of the things that really impressed me about Denzel Washington, and I think this was in an interview where he said that if you notice, I only do certain types of movies, and I almost could have risked my career because there's certain parts that came by that you know they were more comedic and whatever,
Mhm.
but it wasn't something that he wanted to do in the lane he wanted to be in. And he wasn't afraid to say no to those things and stick to his guns and do the things that he really saw himself doing.
Wow. And to even just have that vision in the first place of like knowing what those boundaries are and are not for you is so like inspirational.
Oh yeah, and the thing is too. I mean, I'm not a professional actor, but I can imagine if you're a starving actor and you get something put in front of you, even if it pays really well, you're tempted just to, I don't care what it is, let me just take it because I need to pay my
Mhm.
bills. So to be able to say, you know what, no, this just it's a good role, it's just not for me, and just turn away and not do it. totally give him credit for that because to me that's character. And it
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
mean that there's nothing wrong with the role. It's just he just wants to do certain things. He wants a certain look for the roles he does. And I have tall respect for that.
Yeah, and he's not willing to like degrade himself in any way for money or to work, for any sort of fame. Like he that's so cool. That's very honorable.
Hmm. And like I said, I don't look down on anyone because, sometimes you got to pay the bills
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
got to do
yeah,
what you have
totally.
to do. But yeah, that really sticks with me every time I
Cool.
watch one of his speeches.
That's so cool. I also feel like it's so cool to go back and watch like a young Denzel speech or like a young Meryl Streep and like when they were in their 20s or 30s, what they were already like winning awards and just like knowing
Hmm.
the career ahead of them. I think that's really cool.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And the thing is, he's earned a lot of people's respect.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
I still think of him as a very like yeah, distinguished actor and he's had such a good career. The kind of career that you really dream of where it's like you have done the things that you've wanted to and
Hmm. Yeah. Do you remember that movie he did called? I think it's called Fences.
I
It started off
don't.
as a play, and then they turned it into a movie. It was him, Viola Davis in there. It was actually a really good movie. It's basically about an older gentleman kind of growing up in the, kind of being in the South, um, and about you know dealing with everyday living in the South while raising a family, trying to do the best you can. Denzel did that for the love of it because he did the stage play, then did the movie, and it was a very low budget film, you know. And he did it out, and a lot of people asked him, "So why did you do that?" Knowing that you can
Mhm.
command top dollar. And he's like, it was out of love. I mean, when you get to
Wow.
that point where you're established and financially set to where you don't always have to chase a dollar, but you can start, kind of pushing in stuff that maybe doesn't pay a whole lot, but I love the part. I love the script. To
Yeah.
me, that's freedom.
And I love the fact that he still does like live plays and live acting. I think that's like such a cool thing where he can do both. He can be a great actor on screen
Hmm.
and live shows because they're so two of those skills are so different. Like
Oh
one doesn't
yeah,
always make the other one. Like that's really cool when you stand out in both a live performance and movies.
yeah. The interesting thing about live performances, I saw this with my son when he was doing plays and stuff in high school. When you're doing a live performance, there is no do over. You mess up, you got to keep going.
Yeah. Yep. And you have to be okay with it. Yep.
So there is no, oh man, I messed up. No, you have to keep going.
Right. I just saw last year I saw in LA they do a lot of cool adaptations of horror movies and so I saw they were doing one for Scream but like they made it a musical and it was really
Mm-hmm.
silly. Like it was campy but it was really cute. But there was a scene where they were all a bunch of them were standing on chairs and then one of the actors I felt so bad she fell through the chair and you could tell
Wow.
in real time must have like twisted or broken or something her ankle and then
Ooh.
the poor thing is like limping around on stage, but still trying to sing all the songs and like do all the play magic. And at some point, it's like, okay, just we're concerned about you as like a human, so just please like limp off stage and go to the hospital. And then at one point, she was singing, but she had tears in her eyes, so like she was crying because it hurt so bad. So yeah,
Mm.
like if that was a movie, she'd be like ushered off set and then in a
Oh
hospital, and then they
yeah,
would pre-film like 8 weeks later. But live performance, it's like she's singing a horror movie song and crying at the same time.
yeah. That's called being a trooper there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I would like to talk about something fun.
Yay.
I want to say it was like maybe 2 weeks ago. There was a pilot that retired. So what he did on his last flight, he took 112 family and friends on his last flight. So
Oh,
he landed. They gave him the big, with the big fire hose, the water over the plane, like a salute. And he paid for it himself. I think they said he paid about $100,000 for this.
are you kidding? Really?
Yeah, so they flew down there. They only stayed one day, and then brought him back. But I'm like, wow, $100,000. That's one
I
hell of
was
a
just gonna
party.
say, oh my gosh, can't they get even the like a buddy pass or something like the buy one get one free? God, give the man a discount. It's like so weird.
I thought that was pretty cool though. I'm like, no, that's the way you go out. I like that.
Yeah, that is, and I would also feel so safe on that ride as well. Like I would feel so safe knowing, like, okay, this is the last one. We have to just do one more.
Mm-hmm.
And but like I know we talked about last week, my fear of Boeing planes. Now he wasn't. He. It's not like he knew something, and he's retiring early, right?
That is true. Hopefully that's not the case.
Okay. He's like, get me off this thing. I see where this is going. That's so
I
sweet.
it is. I mean, unless I had deep, deep pockets, I don't know if I'd, pay $100,000, but
No, 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 not at all. I tell my people, hey, if you want to jump on the flight, like you're more than welcome to join me. But
yeah, but we'll give you a discounted ticket, but
yeah, I think I would maybe I would my flex would be I would pay for everyone's snack box,
oh, there you go.
right? And like maybe one alcoholic beverage if they didn't act up too much. That's so cool though. I feel like I think pilot used to be it still is, but like it used to be such an old school, like esteemable thing. But I feel for pilots now just because there's so much going on. Like you have to deal with so much, not only just the people flying, but like the actual aviation stuff. So I hope it like gets back as a career that a lot of people want to do and it's worth it.
Yeah, that's true. I know we talked last week about all the issues with these Boeing flights. We talk about the passengers. We tend to forget the guys flying the planes or the women flying the planes.
Yeah.
Really, because you thinking about it, you flying this plane, you're responsible for all these people on this plane. You just happen to be looking and like, hey, Captain, the tire just fell off. Or hey, you see that fire over on the window? And you have to be calm and
Yeah.
cool
Yes.
because your demeanor controls the demeanor of that plane.
Right.
So, if you're like, we just got a little issue, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna turn back around and land, versus, oh shit, we just lost the tire. We need to get back.
I guess if I was a pilot, I would come on. I'm like, oh my god, we're about to die. Like I have no clue what I'm doing. But I love hearing pilots' demeanor. Like to me, that is so calming. I watch on TikTok a lot pilots like just narrating their flights, and I love it so much. It calms me down.
Mhm.
And I feel like every couple of years they tighten up on the regulations of pilots, like that they need sleep. Like a lot of the pilots have to do these weird overnight flights, and they're so bedraggled and tired that it's good that I think hopefully it starts to be like more of the balance of like
Oh,
healthy,
absolutely, yeah.
a healthy schedule. Because I don't want my
Mhm.
pilot pulling an all nighter.
Yeah, it's not a good thing if you go to the bathroom and the door's open, you happen to look, and he's kind of like laid back in the seat with a mouth open, like, oh.
Yeah. And I also might be making up statistics, but I feel as though pilots always they're in the upper echelon of like alcoholic and men that have affairs. Someone could fact check this if they want to. I don't know what the website you'd go to, but like I've heard before that it's one of the careers where people tend to like be drinkers and have affairs.
Wow. That would be an interesting statistic. Maybe one of our fans will look that up and let us know because
Yes,
that
I
is
think
kind of interesting
dentists
to
went
find
right
out.
up there
Hmm.
too. Maybe
Well,
not the
we have to
affairs part,
come.
but
We need to come back to that. Definitely.
exactly. We need to come back to that. Next week, I'll do my research instead of just spitting out nonsense, and I'll actually. But I have I'm betting on myself. I think it's true.
It'd be interesting. I'd like to know that.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Well, I'm gonna bring us back to movies for a minute before we leave the movie world. And so my
Hmm.
topic is recently there's the Roadhouse, the remake,
Hmm.
which I by choice have not seen yet. So please, God, no one make me see it or watch it. But if you want to, of course, do it. It does not look good to me at all. But like, it got me thinking about remakes that have been good and worth it, and what remakes shouldn't have been done, which to me 100% is Mean Girls. Like I think Mean Girls was a perfect movie the way it was, and it was like perfect for that moment. And I saw the newest one and I was like so mad and just feel like overall, like what leave it perfect, and
Hmm.
maybe if you want to do something like 50 years later, something crazy where it's like time has passed and we're going to completely remake it. Um,
Hmm.
but I didn't know if there's any like remake movies that you've actually liked and thought was worth it.
I would say probably the best one that I've seen is actually Shaft with
Oh, that's a good example.
mhm. Yeah, I mean Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, I heard stories that Wesley Snipes was supposed to be Shaft, and for whatever reason he didn't take the role. I'm kind of glad that didn't happen because I cannot, you ever seen a movie and the character is like, okay, even though other people could have been in that role, it's like, no, I can't see that. This is
Yes.
meant
Oh
for this
yeah.
person.
Yes. It's like this was created perfectly for them.
Yeah, I mean, literally the way he played that, and what's hard to do, even Shaft too, when he had his son there, that was still good.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't see anyone else doing it. I mean, he fit it perfectly. I mean, the mannerisms and everything, and he did it so well to me that you stop thinking about Samuel L. Jackson and you're looking at Shaft.
Yeah. And they waited. I wonder what the time span was in between the original to the remake.
It was a few years because I want to say the original was back in the 70s.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like a
When
different
was
era. Oh,
Yeah,
what did
that
you think
had
about? Oh, sorry.
oh no, go ahead.
Oh, no, 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 no. I was just gonna say, that made me think really quickly of Top Gun too, because I felt like
Mm,
remember a few summers ago, like that almost made us have an 80s moment back again. Because I think it's like Shaft, where it's like the 70s disco theme I think about. And I think it's better when, and I think they were trying to do that with 90s, where it's like, okay, me or the Y2K 2000s were like Mean Girls is going to make a comeback, everyone's going to be dressing like that, but it felt like too soon to me.
hmm. I mean, it was good, don't get me wrong, but you know, to me it just wasn't like the original. You
No.
know,
Did you watch Roadhouse?
Roadhouse, not the new one. I
No,
haven't
me
seen the new
neither.
one.
Okay. It looks weird. I think, yeah, it looks weird.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, I mean, even like the Ghostbuster franchises.
Oh, yeah.
Now, believe it or not, some people didn't watch it where you had all the women in there.
Mhm.
Um, that one was great. I love that one. And then there was the one where the kids that were on the farm, the third one. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. It was okay. Um, but now they have another Ghostbusters out now, so I'm definitely going to watch that to see if it's any good. But they're bringing back some of the original characters, so that kind of
Are they?
sparks me a little bit. Yeah.
I think I'm begrudgingly going to see that in a few days. So yeah, I don't think anyone can hear me, but yes, I'll let you know because I think over the weekend I'm partaking in that non-voluntarily. So yes,
Yeah,
I'm,
like I
I'm
said,
using code for everyone.
there you go. Yeah, the trailer was okay, but then when I saw, some of the people like Eddie Hudson in there, um, Bill Murray, and a few other of the original cast, I'm like, well, maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll go check it out because I
Yeah,
love the original ones.
that'd be
But
super cool.
yeah, it's interesting. I'm definitely checking that out because I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. We'll see.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
we'll have to let you know.
Well, I would like to bounce into something a little interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think about? Do you remember when Fanny, who's I want to say the Attorney General over in um, over in Georgia, who's prosecuting the case for Trump, and she got into a little bit of trouble because I guess her and her lover kind of created not a good optics
Oh no.
where it was the look of impropriety, or it just wasn't a good look. So he ended up because she ended up hiring him, but from what she said, they didn't start
Oh
dating
yeah.
until after the fact. And the prosecution was saying, I mean, the defense was saying that no, they were lovers beforehand. To me, I think it was kind of stupid because it's like, okay, who cares,
Right. Yeah.
But the interesting thing is to keep the case going. He decided to pull out of the case, so she could stay in there. I don't know. I mean, personally, I'm not a real big fan of office romance because when everything goes right, it's great. When it goes sour, it'll create a really bad taste. To me, it would.
Yeah. I can see I can I mean it's hard to like it is hard in this world to like dictate who you end up falling in love with. I mean, if people are married, of course I'm against that, like but if
Mhm.
there's two single people looking for love in like their 30s or whatever age, but I can see when a lot of the time like all you do is go to work, especially if you're in a bigger city, it's like your whole day is commuting, going to work. And I can see how office romances would start because you're people together, maybe going to happy hour, like that's who you see. So like I wouldn't want to completely limit it, but I do think it should be appropriate in the way that it's discussed. And to me, my biggest pet peeve is I hate the term like work wife or work husband. Even I would
Yes.
almost rather have like an actual romance. Like I think that's so annoying. And to me, I've always just had like boy best friends. I wouldn't call them like my work husband because you're not a husband. You're like just a really good friend. And that
Yeah.
drives me absolutely crazy.
For me, and I guess speaking as a married man, if my wife came to me and said, hey, so and so, we had a good time, he's my, I said, oh, okay, who's that? He's like, oh, that's my work husband, and she's talking like, the hell you mean work husband?
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like, no, he's not. This is just like a nice, close, that term drives me like up a wall. And that's so weird. And I don't want to be anyone's work wife. And I don't want anyone like, that's just so weird. I'm like, I want a work divorce from you.
And then I'm quite sure if I ever told my wife, yeah, so and so, that's my work wife. What can you mean work wife?
Right. I'm like, let's like we're cousins or something, or we're besties, but not like work wife is just such a weird thing because I'm like, okay, are we working through huge problems together and like buying a property? And like I don't need another version of like what I'm currently doing. So that's
Uh,
just like I
yeah,
hate that
I
term.
mean, I agree with you. I think it's a little weird personally, to categorize someone like that. But to each his own, I guess.
I don't know. It's annoying. I think we need to have work divorces in the workplace and just not stand for that. That to me is like, and maybe I'm just being overly whatever, but that to me is like, I don't trust those people then to go on like a convention together. I don't know. I don't, then you have to me, it's just like, oh, this is my great friend at work. But if, that is a separate thing than actual office romances, which I'm not really like for or against. I think it kind of is like a
Yeah,
case by case basis because I've heard of so many successful marriages where they really did just meet at work or they
true.
met because like someone was selling equipment to someone or they met through like a that way.
Hmm.
um but it is not fair if they break up, if someone either has to like leave or leave their job, or it's a risk reward type thing.
That's true. And you're right. I mean, it does vary from person to person. So, and like I said, for some people, it turns out great. Some people, not so much. So, yeah, you're right. You can't really say 100% yeah or no, yay or no. Um,
Exactly.
hopefully if you're married, it's an absolute no. But
Right, right,
but hey,
exactly.
to each his own, as they say, right?
See, as like a woman, like I immediately don't really like the work wife. I'd be like, oh, I know her. Of course, like, and it'd be up to. I would hope that my person would realize like that's annoying, and but I would already, if I was meeting her at the company party, I'd be wanting to like shove a gingerbread cookie in her face. But hey, no jealousy if she's here.
There you go. There you go.
um Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, this is like a fun one too. Okay, so today is a special day because it's two women that I love and get a kick out of birthdays. It's Fergie from the Black
Hmm.
Eyed Peas and the great Mariah Carey, who just like both of them for different reasons. I love them, but they crack me up because those are two internet memes that live in my head like completely rent free. The first one, if no one is familiar with it, like please, I beg you, just Google. It's Fergie doing cartwheels like for no reason on the Today Show at like 5 a.m. and it's just it makes me cry and laugh every single time I see it. She's just like doing the most back and forth doing cartwheels. And then the second one is Mariah Carey getting carried back and forth by like her dancers. And there's so many clips of this. I mean, this happens a lot at her shows where she'll just like kind of go limp and like people will carry her around. And like these are just two things I could watch over and over. And it made me think, do you have any like memes or things like that that you think about?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like the
I
Fergie
know.
one, like I think about Fergie doing cartwheels at least once a month.
I'm gonna tell you, I watched that and I got tired just watching it because literally she just kept doing just cartwheel after cartwheel after cartwheel. It's like, wow.
And she's
And
singing. She's like,
she has one hand holding the mic and then the other hand, balancing as she does her cartwheels. Like, wow, that's impressive.
Yes, it's impressive, but especially like, it's morning time. That's like the singer Pink too. People will make videos and like laugh at her shows because she'll be doing like acrobatics over the
Yes.
audience and flipping. It's like so funny to me.
I tell you, Pink, when she does her performances, it's impressive. It really is. Because,
Oh my gosh, yes, she puts so much into it, and like, but it's like so much, which is amazing. That's so good, but sometimes it's just laughable.
oh, yeah. And it's like, wow. I mean, and I guess as an artist, you want your performance to be memorable. Yeah, watching Fergie and watching Pink, yes, you will remember those.
Right. And then for the same reason, Mariah Carey's like, but on the total opposite spectrum of doing nothing and just having, like, but like having very handsome men carry her around the stage. It's like so funny to me.
Mariah Carey does that a lot because there were a lot of videos showing her doing that.
Yeah, I know if you type in Mariah Carey getting like carried, there's quite a bit of. It's like
Yes.
one New Year's special, whatever, anything.
I mean, I expected maybe, a couple here and there, but oh my God, it was a lot of them.
Yeah, I was at the show uh many years ago where supposedly Fergie made in her pants and she peed her pants. It was
Mm.
a festival called the San Diego Street Scene, and
Hmm.
I think there might still be video, but she like, and I mean, hey, we've all had those moments. You have to go, whatever. Like maybe she was doing cartwheels or something, but supposedly she like completely peed her pants in the whole performance. You could just see it.
Mm.
I know.
All right. Talk about the show must go on, huh?
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So I love those women, but yeah, I thought those were super funny memes if someone hasn't seen them yet.
Oh yeah. I would say the best memes that I've ever seen. Do you remember um when that dock captain was jumped on? I want to say it was down in Alabama. And the boat came in and he asked him real nice and moved the boat. And then they all started to jump on him. And then all of a sudden he threw his hat up in the air, and then all of a sudden people just start coming in, and it was a big brawl. Remember that one guy had the chair because the chair was a huge meme.
No, I need to look this up.
You don't remember that? Oh my goodness,
No,
it
what
was
would I
so
type
many
in?
good
Just
memes.
like dock captain.
Doc Captain or put the chair, and it'll
Okay.
pop up. Oh my god! And there was this one guy, and actually I thought it was an adult, but it was actually like 16, 17-year-old. Literally, he jumped into the water and was swimming over there to help him, fully clothed. He got to the edge of the dock and jumped out like he was Superman. That was impressive to me because think about how heavy your clothes are when you come out of the water.
Yeah. Oh, I think I see it. Oh my gosh. Wow,
Yeah.
I see it. This is like it almost looks like they're paid actors, but they're not. But this looks like something that is stage. But
And
don't do you like laugh almost every time you see it? Because I'll forget about the Fergie thing, and then I'll see it again a couple months later, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm right back there. I'm laughing so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, obviously we shouldn't laugh at violence, but it
No,
was
no,
hysterical
no.
because they literally was getting ready to jump. They started to jump on this man. Well,
Oh,
it didn't go the way they thought it was going to go
wow.
because the guy took off his hat, and I've never seen this before. He threw the hat up, like it was a backside or something. Next thing you know, literally, there's people coming out of nowhere. And let's just say the people that jumped him, they won't do that again.
Oh no. We need this guy for the all the women getting punched in New York. We need this
Yes,
kind of energy.
yes, yes. Oh my God, they had so many of the chair memes. They had a chair with a super cape on there. Um, they were like, if you don't know what this means, having a chair, then we can't be friends. It was just crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I
it
wish
was.
you and I were doing our show months ago when this whole like I don't know if you've heard of couch guy. Have you heard of like the couch guy phenomenon on TikTok?
Uh-uh.
It was basically this video about a girl coming home to surprise her boyfriend. They were long distance and she flew all the way and she was like videoing herself surprising him, but then he was sitting on the couch next to two girls when she like came in to surprise him. And these girls were just friends, but his reaction was like so not excited to see his girlfriend, and he barely got up and barely hugged her. And the two other girls on the couch looked very like, "Oh God, we just got caught like doing something." And so everyone started, thousands of people were commenting like, you got to dump couch guy, and now everyone is like, I wonder what couch guy is up to, and they're still together to this day, but like it got millions of views and the internet was split on like, does couch guy really
Are
love
you
this girl? And
serious?
yeah, yeah,
Millions?
yeah. And to the point where people were investigating like, oh, if he's holding his phone you could see the reflection of this, and it got to like a CGI type situation. But I feel like if we were still doing the show, we would have had to do like a special 1 hour episode just on Couch Guy alone because I was so into this.
Okay, now I got to look them up now, right?
Yeah, yeah. On when you guys are done on TikTok, I mean, if people are on YouTube or TikTok, chances are you know about Couch Guy. But it took up like a lot of my brain power that month.
I am stunned that that went viral.
I think because his reaction was so lackluster to seeing this girlfriend that surprised, and there was all these things where people were like, "Oh my gosh, he was holding hands with one of the girls on the couch," or just trying to like read into every little bit. And the girlfriend
Mm.
kept on defending him afterwards, saying, "No, no, no, that's just him. We're really in love." And then he would try to make a video, and people would just pile on to them. And it was just this random, like, cute couple, but now they have everyone always like still tags them. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take a look at that.
You have to look at
Mr.
Couch Guy
Couch
next
Guy.
week. Please let me know. We'll revisit it.
You know what? I think we should have fun with something I think is nuts. And I can't believe we were saying this, squatters' rights.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And you would think that, we're in 2024, that no one could just, move into your property and you can potentially go to jail trying to throw them out, and you have to go to court to get them out, and they weren't even supposed to be there in the first place. And it's amazing that this is a thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, can I tell you our story really briefly?
Oh,
We
sure,
have a
definitely.
squatter story. Yeah. I mean, I won't give names or anything, but we own a house in San Diego and we rent out our house. And
Mhm.
our very first tenants doing it ended up being squatters. And it was to the point where they didn't pay their rent. Like it went 1 month was a little late, and then it was an older woman that we had taken on. So like basically we took on an older woman, and then what happened is she let this man, like a family friend, move into the house, and it became like a parasite basically, where like all these people um kept on taking over, and she was like too elder to do anything, but people inside the house were like not paying. And so it was like we were trying to reach this older woman who wasn't answering us, and then it was like, oh, now someone else is in charge and we didn't know that. So very, very, very long story short is that we had to hire a lawyer, and it cost us like 5 grand to at least even start doing we did
Wow.
like the whole 30-day notice to quit. we did like the whole thing where we evicted them. We went through the eviction process, and then we like served them in court. And then finally, thank God, like one of the people, the man's girlfriend, came up and said, like, this is true, that I'm going to help you do this. And then she worked with our lawyer, and we were able to like get them all out. But it was probably like 3 or 4 months of not getting paid, going to someone's house, and my gosh, they changed the locks on our house too. They had a locksmith come and like,
wow.
And then get this, when they moved out, they took our washer and dryer and moved out with our washer and dryer. So thank God now we go through like another company. Now I'm like, okay, if that ever happened again, immediately, like I know the steps to like get a lawyer, do all these things. But when that first happens and you're a homeowner, and it's like, we're not a corporation, we're just people that could also barely afford our mortgage. So it's like, I think these people thought they were taking advantage of, what, like, I don't know, but that was the scariest, craziest thing to have that. And now they moved down. We have tenants, but they left our house like flooded. They changed the lock, so we didn't even have the keys to our house. They moved out with our washer and dryer, which was hundreds of dollars, and our lawyer fees were like over $5,000. So,
oh my gosh,
I have strong thoughts on squatters, because it was the craziest thought to feel like someone's at your house just living rent free and not being a good person. Like that's just the weirdest feeling.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that was interesting, because I know they showed this woman who was trying to get squatters out of her house. So, she forced her way in, and, the police came, and the police wouldn't put the squatters out because the squatter was like, well, I have a lease. And the owner was like, there is no lease because I would have gave them the lease. I'm the owner of the property. So the police were like, well, this is more of a civil matter. We can't do anything. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yep. It's so scary.
And the woman, she got tired of it, and she brought a locksmith over. And do you know that when she tried to change the locks, she got arrested?
Yeah.
For changing the locks on her own house.
Oh, yes, totally. Our lawyer kept on telling me to like, don't call them at work, because I wanted to like embarrass them on Facebook, or like I was gonna drive to the house, and I was going on my own property. I was gonna write like, you loser, like, but the judge was like, or the lawyer was saying, don't do anything because that could be seen as harassment, and like, the best thing to do is just to, for real, just go through like the tedious legal steps of trying to get people out. But it brings out like your primal thing. Of course, this woman is like trying to change her locks, but yeah, you're supposed to not do anything to them directly. You're supposed to just like let it all go through the courts.
But the crazy thing is that, if you say I got a lease, I would think the police officer should have the power to say, let me see the lease.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everything is online now, so you can actually look up who really owns the property. It's actually pretty easy for law enforcement to do. Probably takes them a matter of minutes to figure out who really owns the property. So that's like, I could walk into a house and say, well, I have a lease here, and then make the homeowner take me to court. There's something wrong with our laws if you can do that,
Oh, yes, absolutely. And it doesn't even, I think like normal rental agreements don't always hold up, but I think it's so important for people, if you're renting out your house, not to do the things of like, because I've heard all the time about squatters where it's like the original person will sublease to someone else, and then that other person is the squatter. You know what I mean? I think that happens a lot, where like a landlord thinks he's renting to someone, and then that person like moves out of the state, and then all of a sudden it's a whole new person. So I think it's so important to like get everything in paper, and to go to like your local rental association, and make sure like you have the most up-to-date thing signed, and not to just be like make things unclear.
Oh yeah, and then also too, I'm not saying be a nuisance, but you can't rent. To me, you can't rent out property and not visit the property for 6 to 8 months either.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just to know that someone's there. I was like, our squatters, I was genuinely like calling. I was like investigating on Facebook, and I called the guy's uncle to tell on him, and I'm just like, do you know that your nephew is like a deadbeat renter? And I was calling every single tactic, and like one of them was constantly posting about God and like doing the right thing, and I'm like, don't you think God would want you to pay your rent? And this woman was just posting these like righteous things on Facebook. Meanwhile, we're like 3 months of getting no payment.
Wow.
So yeah, I feel so passionately. I think squatters are like losery people, and like to take advantage of someone who actually, has to pay a mortgage is just such a horrible thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I guess if you put that same energy into doing something positive, you can actually do great things. Because
Absolutely.
it takes a lot of work from what I see to be a squatter. And it's like,
Yeah.
why not just put that same effort into, I don't know, finding a job and paying your rent, you know?
Right. And the anxiety of living in someone's house knowing that like your day is coming up soon and that you haven't paid, like that is such a feeling that no one should deal with. Like you would just feel better. Exactly. Even if you could just afford like a one bedroom with three other people, like that's at least you're doing it in an honorable
Oh
way,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Well, like I said, let's hope that the laws change because man, it's definitely not right now.
No, California is known to be on the renter side and like squatter friendly.
Wow.
Yeah, California has some crazy laws. I think there's also some a min or if people are there, I think for like 9 years or some time where if you're there for like 9 years, you have some type of like even more rights to be a squatter than you do if you're just like
Hmm.
new.
Wow. I mean, if someone lives in your house for 9 years and you don't know they're there, okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of on the owner too.
Exactly. But I was getting ready to like bulldoze our own house. I'm like, I will learn how to like drive a truck myself and I will like pick those people up and like tractor them out of the way. But yeah, that's the craziest feeling. And this one also was a grown adult man as well. And I'm like, how can you be like a grown man and like listening to someone saying we don't have your rent money and it's like, for like months and just it's so geeky and weird.
Oh yeah. I mean, to me, most men, take pride in taking care of their bills and taking care of their family. You know.
Yeah. And he worked as a security guard and I was calling up the company that he works for and being like I was telling
Oh,
everyone, I was telling the secretary at his secretary at work.
they were squatters. They were working and still wasn't paying the rent.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And our neighbors, like
Wow.
our neighbors were so awesome. They were like spying on behalf of us and then being like, okay, the van is there now. So we knew basically when our like lawyers served them, we knew at a time when they were going to be home.
I don't know. You're a slug at that point. You know.
Right? Isn't it? Yeah,
You're an
they got
absolute slug at that point.
exactly. They got served, I think, like two or three times, two or three different times, and then like got handed the paper that they were about to be evicted and still didn't do anything.
Wow. Yeah,
It
and
gets me
like you said,
fired up.
most of the landlords are not big corporations. They're regular
Right.
people. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. And I like we like systematically don't hike up the rent price. Like I feel like it's very fair. We're not like we try to
Oh
change
sure.
everything, So I feel like if a landlord is good, like then yeah, why would you do that to someone? I can see like I mean it's never right, but it's way worse when it's just like people trying to like make it through.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I just hope that they change the laws because it's not fair. Because, it probably keeps a lot of people from even trying to become a landlord or get into real estate just because
Yes.
they're afraid of that potential.
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
Yeah, you
Cool. Well,
definitely got to
do we
have
have
thick
time?
skin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thick skin, and I needed to do my like deep breathing techniques. um, do we have time for one more, or do you want me to save it for next week?
No, we got time for one more.
Okay, yay. I'm going to pick so on April 8th, it's the solar eclipse. So
Hmm.
it's gonna look kind of weird. It will look like I think wait, what is it? My brain always gets it messed up. I think it will look dark out during the day, I believe, is what it's going to look like. It's either one way or another. I think my brain might be like switching it, but I think yeah, I think during the daytime there's going to be a time where it looks very dark. I know a lot of my friends here in California are like planning eclipse parties or like to to go somewhere to watch it. But what I thought
Mhm.
was so interesting is I was reading facts about how animals like get extra strange around the eclipse time.
Mhm.
And one fun fact for everyone is that turtles mate like crazy. So we're gonna have a lot of baby turtles because I feel like turtles for some reason go crazy during an eclipse and they
Ooh.
just mate with each other nonstop. All the turtle work wives and work husbands. So I didn't know if you cared about the eclipse or if you have any eclipse plans.
Um, Actually, hopefully I can see where I'm at because I know it depends on where you're at as far as how clear you can see it. But I think it's
Oh
actually pretty
yeah,
cool. You know, I'm a big UFO buff, so I
you
kind of like those
are.
kind of things. Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that's cool. Have you ever been to like any of the like the vortex areas? Like I know around here, a lot of the New Mexico places and like Roswell, obviously. And
I've never been there, but I definitely want to go. I mean, the thing is, obviously, I would love to see Area 51, but being that I love my freedom, I can't get that close to it. So
yeah, yeah.
I don't know, just something about that sign saying "deadly force authorized." I may not
Oh
want to get
yeah.
that close.
I know. I'm scared. I really feel like I would be beamed up, and then I'd be like, "Oh my god, what am I doing?"
I think it'd be cool to run into an alien. And actually, what's interesting is that years ago, they thought you were kind of nuts when you talk about it. Now it's mainstream
It's
top
out
topics
there.
now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I feel like we still don't know exactly like what form, but yeah, like it's real now.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think that there's going to be a point where information is going to come out because over the last few years, not only has it become mainstream conversation, but now they're literally, declassifying videos now,
Oh
something they've never
yeah.
done before, so it'll be interesting. Maybe, when you watch the eclipse, you may see, something kind
Oh
of
my
go across the
gosh.
sky.
It's gonna be the beginning of like a Will Smith movie for sure. I can't take it. As long as we can still use TikTok, I'll be okay with that.
Ooh, I think that TikTok conversation is going to be coming up again because they're close.
I know. It'll even more about around election time too. I
You
feel
think
like.
so?
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I don't know in which way because I think like all parties want to use TikTok, but I feel like all conversations kind of get heightened around the election.
Yeah. And the thing is, which is kind of sad, is there's a lot of people that do make a living off TikTok.
Yeah,
And, you know, it takes time to build up a following and to build up a brand on TikTok. So to have it kind of like yanked away would kind of suck.
absolutely.
I mean, I finally got to over 1,000 followers and now they're taking it away. So
I yeah, I'm like my mom just started following me. How could they stop that?
yeah, it's interesting. I just wish they would just say whatever it is, because, like I said, there's something that freaked them out because Republicans and Democrats don't agree on nothing, and there's something there because it's clearly bipartisan. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna push it through. So it's like just tell us what you see because there's something there.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I think that conversation is gonna come up, and you're right, it may come up close to the election too. So more to come, as they say, right?
Uh-huh. Aliens, TikTok. It's gonna be fun.
Absolutely. Wow, this hour flew.
I know it always does. See, this is such a good container to like always share all the thoughts.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, I enjoyed our conversation.
Me too.
Hopefully, everyone out there enjoyed it. Some people are probably going to watch it after the live because it's still going to be posted. So definitely make sure you watch us every Wednesday. We're going to be doing our live stream, and who knows what we'll be talking about.
Yay. Okay, by next Wednesday, can you please watch the couch guy video and then we can talk about your reaction to it?
Yes, yes, I definitely want to see that because that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I need your take on it as like a responsible married man. It will be good to hear.
I will definitely watch that. So that will be one of the things we talk about next week.
Okay, good. I'm gonna watch it as a refresher too, just to get myself riled up again.
There you go. For everyone else, thank you for watching Thirsty Topics. I'm your guy, Lawrence Elrod.
And I am your not guy, Meryl Clevo. I'm the
Enjoy the
alien,
rest of
Meryl
your
Clevo.
day.
Okay, bye.